Welcome to Nightshifthorrorstories, where every episode tells a story. Some are forgotten. Others were buried on purpose. On this channel, we uncover the eerie, the hidden, and the downright unexplainable. If you're ready to look where others won't, subscribe and let's begin. Tonight, we're exploring a true story from the early 1900s, a case so unsettling that it still raises questions about obsession, grief, and the limits of human behavior. In Key West, Florida, a young woman named Elena Milagro de Hoyos lived a quiet life that ended far too soon. What happened after her passing would shock an entire nation, not because of mystery alone, but because of how far one man's fixation would go. This is not a story about legends or rumors. It's a documented historical case that forces us to confront the darker edges of devotion and denial. As the lines between love and obsession slowly faded, a private tragedy became one of the most disturbing stories ever recorded. Turn down the lights, stay with us, and let's step into the chilling case of Elena Milagro de Hoyos. Elena Milagro de Hoyos was born in Cuba in 1909 and later lived in Key West, Florida. She was known as a quiet young woman who lived with her family. In the late 1920s, tuberculosis was still a widespread and serious illness. Medical treatment options were limited at the time. Elena became ill in her early 20s. Her condition worsened despite medical care. She was admitted to a local hospital for treatment. This is where her life intersected with a man named Carl Tanzler. At this point, nothing suggested the story would become infamous. Her life was about to be remembered for reasons no one expected. Carl Tanzler was a radiology technician at the hospital. He claimed to have visions of an idealized woman from a young age. When he saw Elena, he believed she matched that vision. Tanzler became emotionally fixated on her. He attempted experimental treatments in hopes of helping her recover. There was no evidence these treatments were effective. Elena remained seriously ill. Her family was aware of his involvement but trusted hospital care. Tanzler's attachment grew stronger over time. Elena passed away in 1931 at the age of 22. After Elena's passing, her family arranged a burial in Key West. Carl Tanzler paid for an above-ground mausoleum. He visited the site frequently. He claimed to speak to Elena through imagined communication. Over time, his behavior became increasingly isolated. He requested keys to the mausoleum under the guise of maintenance. For several years, he remained largely unnoticed. Local residents assumed his visits were expressions of grief. No one suspected what would follow. This period marked a turning point in the story. Sometime later, Tanzler secretly removed Elena from the mausoleum. He transported her remains to his home. There, he attempted to preserve her using methods available at the time. He constructed a figure resembling her former appearance. This was done in complete secrecy. For years, he lived alone with the preserved remains. Neighbors noticed odd behavior but had no explanation. Tanzler continued to present Elena as if she were still present. This period lasted nearly 7 years. The situation remained undiscovered until a family member grew suspicious. Elena's sister became concerned after hearing rumors. She confronted Tanzler at his home. Authorities were notified shortly afterward. The discovery shocked the local community. News spread quickly across the United States. The case became a national sensation. Public reactions ranged from disbelief to fascination. Medical professionals examined the situation. Tanzler was briefly detained. However, legal consequences were minimal due to the era's laws. After the case, Tanzler lived quietly. He continued to express belief in his connection to Elena. He later created a life-sized effigy resembling her. This was kept privately. He moved away from public attention. Tanzler eventually passed away in 1952. He was buried near an image of Elena. His actions remain difficult to categorize. Historians debate obsession versus delusion. His story is often cited in psychological discussions. The case of Elena Milagro de Hoyos is remembered worldwide. It raises questions about obsession, grief, and mental health. Elena herself had no voice in the narrative that followed. Modern retellings emphasize respect for her humanity. Medical and legal standards have changed significantly since then. Today, such behavior would be handled very differently. Her story is often misrepresented for shock value. Historical context is essential to understanding the case. It remains one of the most unsettling true stories ever recorded. That's it for today's spooky episode. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like button for more eerie stories and unexplained mysteries. Until next time, keep your lights on, or don't.